This episode is brought to you by Iams Pet Food. When you choose Iams dry dog or cat food, you can see a difference in your pet with your own eyes. Healthy energy in 5 days, healthy digestion in 10 days, and healthy skin and coat in just 25 days. Satisfaction for you and them. Guaranteed or your money back. Feed Iams dry dog or cat food and see a visible difference. Visit iams.com/difference to learn more.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Anfield Index podcast. I'm your host, Trev Downey, who is still residing in his field here in beautiful rural Ireland. It's a Friday night and I am joined by Cam Brainch and Lisa Marie Hanahan. The gang is back in town. We've got the whole team again. Nice to be able to say that. We had a week off there where we couldn't make it work, but we're back together again. We do have those newbies who are talking about joining, but they couldn't make it work either in the last couple of weeks. That's why there was no show last time out. Apologies for that. But we're here tonight and we have a really good situation to be talking about. It's, I think, better than any of us could have hoped. And let me begin by welcoming each of my co-podcasters to your ears this evening. And Lisa Marie Hanahan's coming in the furthest distance from all the way over in those United States. How are you doing, my friend?
Yes, they are still apparently the United States, and the Constitution is still in play for now. Anyway, just not even go there. Good evening, everybody. It's not even sunny here in Middle Tennessee today. It is overcast and supposed to kind of rain all weekend, but that's okay. Gives it that fall feeling, or autumn, whatever term you would like to use. And I am happy to be here on episode 396 of the Anfield Index podcast.
Well, it's good to have you. I thought of you often over the last fortnight for various reasons that we've been interacting about, but also I saw a couple of documentaries about those poor people who are not that far from you. In the wake of all that hurricane damage, and it's just an absolute nightmare. My heart would break.
It's absolutely awful. I've actually worked with some hospitals in that area, so I'm familiar with. Plus I was in Asheville, back beginning of August anyway, and it's just heartbreaking because and the people who are like, why weren't they better prepared? You don't prepare for a hurricane in Western North Carolina, okay, y'all?
No. That's the thing. I actually heard, I think maybe 2 months beforehand, someone from Asheville talking about how it was the perfect microclimate. How it was, one of those areas. It was just the ideal place. So I mean that all that nonsense. I think it's really spoofing. I couldn't get over the extent of the damage. We haven't been told the half of it. These people were on the ground reporting. They were talking about toxic mud. All the mud has come through all these waste plants and chemical plants, and of course there's all the obvious debris and not to get too gruesome, but there's a lot of a lot of people who aren't here anymore, and they're possibly part of that. It's just grim. I just felt so sorry for all of those people and the community spirit. I mean, everyone with a truck or a tractor or maybe even lucky enough to have a helicopter, they were all out helping. Yep. It was really, really inspiring in that way, but just so sad to see the devastation and, you know, the struggles they're having. So, Jesus, it put a lot of things into perspective, especially all the squawking about the recent selection. So let's hope.
Let's just move on. Let's
just hope those things really.
Hey, Cam, how you doing?
The important things that we want to see those improve. Like, so fingers crossed for those poor people. Yeah, Cam also had a few thoughts about yourself during the week. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you for why, as they used to say in Gavin and Stacey. It was because I bumped into a lad who drove a very, very fancy car for a sort of, he was starting up a business, a kind of a chauffeur business, which, of course, you have ample experience with. And I was just telling him a little bit about you and your setup, and he was all ambitious, and it's only at the start, and you know he was thinking of weddings and all the rest of it, and I just said, okay, you know, all the best. And he did have a lovely car, not quite as lovely as was it Beaufort you used to have, wasn't it?
Yeah, Beaufort, yeah.
Not quite as beautiful as that, but still a lovely, lovely old car, a bit like the Bergerac car, if you remember that, Cam.
Yeah, I do, yeah. Like that was more like a classic Jag.
Yes, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it looks the part. I just said fingers crossed to the guy. I hope it goes well. You do love to see someone starting up something new. It is
100%.
It's always very exciting to see it, and you buzz off the energy of people like that. What about yourself during the week, my friend? Ali, we couldn't connect last week.
No.
What about the week that's been in it? How's that going for you?
Yeah, been a bit of a weird week. Just sort of went off the radar a little bit. We had not to put a downer on anything, but we had a shot passing end of last week, hence why I wasn't on the show.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. A lad I used to work with, a fellow Red Manraj, only 31.
Oh God.
Yeah, no age, you know, and he was just found passed away in his car in the morning. Came back from a night out the night before and hadn't even taken his seatbelt off, so not sure quite what happened there yet. I just had all my ex-colleagues go suddenly ringing me up on Friday. That was a bit crazy. Then, so that put me on a bit of a downer for the week, you know, just sort of, so I took a step back. And then today would have been Mum's 85th. So I just thought, what a better way to celebrate Mum being 85 years young today, if she was still with us, by doing a pod with two of my favourite people and, you know, bit of therapy, lift the mood, lift the gloom, and talk about the brilliant Reds, you know.
Talk about the brilliant Reds, and you know, I feel like Mama B is almost like an honorary member of our extended crew. Mally's the mention she got on the pod, whether it was you having to move quickly because she needed a room, or you know, just mentioning in passing that she was next door or whatever.
Yeah,
we always felt a little bit connected to your dear old mum, so it's lovely to be hearing about her today as well. And like you say, Cam, I mean, it's just all good. And you know, sometimes it can be difficult to do a podcast which often sort of feeds on negativity and stuff like that. Ours never really has. And so I'm looking forward to talking to you guys today about just how good things are. And I don't feel like it's tempting fate, because like, what's the fucking point? I hate people who are, you know, constantly miserable with the outlook that, you know, well, at least that way you can't be disappointed. Mate, you're disappointed now. You know what I mean? Because you're making yourself sad. And I used to be that guy. That's why I'm saying it. That's why I have such strong opinions about it. I used to be sort of default pessimistic so that then I could never get too badly disappointed. But I didn't realize I was going around all the time pretty much disappointed as opposed to enjoying the crack. When it's happening. My God, it's happening now. And Cam, I'll start with you, because we had the most recent outing in the week was the Champions League game, which had one of the most emphatic halves of football I think we've seen in recent years, in terms of the Reds just going through the gears and blowing away a team who set out their stall very impressively in that first half, who have really outrageous record over 2 years under Xabi Alonso. And it just felt as if, and I've said this to Jan last night, and I think I said it in Raw immediately afterwards, it just felt as if we were playing within ourselves and always had these gears to go up. It never felt to me like even if they had scored that we wouldn't have been able to come back. We just choose, it seems, Cam, to play a little bit within ourselves with this more reserved way of playing, which can be a little bit frustrating, a little bit kind of nervous and tense, where it was supposed to be calm. It's not necessarily calm for me. I don't like when we're seeing a game out at 2-1 and the last 20 minutes is a lot of them coming into our half. I don't like that. But generally speaking, it feels really churlish to argue with what's happening, Cam. It's whatever approach is being taken, it's almost impossible to find fault with anything.
It is very difficult to find a fault. And honestly, why should we be looking for faults? Enjoy the positives. Honestly and truthfully, yeah, we seem to start the first half a little bit slow, and we let the opposition, last few games, 3 or 4 games, that's been the case where the opposition has started off really, really well. I mean, the Brighton game is point in case the first half, they were fantastic. You know, they could have quite easily have had 3 goals, and we would have been blown out of the water, and deservedly so, but they didn't. Second half, suddenly, you know, whatever is being said at halftime, whatever changes are being made, and I keep saying to people, I think Slot's just come in and he's making subtle changes here and there, and I've probably said it in the pod, and it's just having a huge impact all over, all these little subtle changes. You know, for example, the interview Trent gave with, or whatever he said, whoever he said it to, about, you know, Slot came up to him with these videos of him, and Trent was thinking, oh, here we go, I'm a shit defender, blah, blah, blah. 8% body shape this way. And that's all it seems to be taking. Maybe it's 8% everywhere across the field. And when you add that, 11 times, that's 92% or whatever it is. So, it's 88%, I should say. Get me maths right. So it's fantastic. You know, we're playing some great football. Second half, especially. I mean, second half against Leverkusen, a damn good Leverkusen team, you know, and we still haven't played anyone yet, obviously. So look forward to, you know, playing some big teams, you know, because Arsenal, Brighton, you know, they're not good teams at all. So Leverkusen, yeah, who are they? AC Milan in the San Siro, who are they? You know what I mean? Yeah, no, we're still yet to play someone, but at the end of the day, like Slot said, Premier League's meant to be the toughest league in the world, but we haven't played anybody. Make sense of that.
I have to say, and I'll bring you in on this one, Lisa Marie, I am loving, apart from altogether from the stuff on the field, which is way beyond what anyone could have expected or hoped for even. I think even positive thinking people would have found it hard to count and saying, yeah, I think we'll probably get 14 wins from 16 and, you know, a draw. Yeah, I reckon that's how we'll do it. You know, it seems overly ambitious to say the least, but here we are. And it feels to me like a huge part of it, and I thought Mulby was very insightful last night, is to do with this lad who's, you know, standing in our dugout now. And, you know, you have to be a little bit wary of ladling too much praise on, just as you have to be a little bit wary of knee-jerk criticism. But it's just more the way that he handles himself that I'm really enjoying. He's not trying to be Jurgen Klopp. He's not trying to be he's not a try-hard at all. He's the calmest man I think I've ever seen walk into a Premier League job. He just has this quiet confidence. He can have a laugh. He can spot if there's a little bit of a dig coming and deflect it. He doesn't suffer fools when it comes to the questions about, contracts and all the rest of it. But he doesn't do it in that way that Jurgen would often do, which is quite spiky, or my hero Kenny used to do, which was very spiky. He just kind of talks a little bit of sense and shuts them down, you know. and has makes a little deprecating reference, like, it's nice to say sometimes I'm the coach, I'm not the manager, and just blow them off and leave them at that. I'm loving the way this guy is doing his job, Lisa Marie.
I am as well. I mean, I think it is very admirable the way he has come into it and the way he has approached it. And I think you're right. It would have been it just wouldn't have set right if he had tried to approach his interactions and everything the same way Jurgen Klopp did. And because he's not Jurgen Klopp. I mean, they're two very different, like I know them personally, but they strike me as very different people, very different personalities. And so it feels like he's just remained true to himself. Arne Slot has, and I think that's why it has gone so well. He hasn't tried to, shift it, to try to, again, to just be Klopp. He's approaching it in his way. And you have to think, I mean, of course, none of us were on the hiring committee or, privy to any of that, but they had to hire him for a reason. There had to be very in-depth conversations with Slot about his approaches and his plans and, and all the things. And so he was hired on that merit. And so then he's like, this is my plan. He just strikes me as somebody who has a plan. And he's like, and while it's still working, this is the plan I'm going to execute. And it's working. And it's not only is it working, it's working beautifully for whatever reason. There's probably a little bit of luck and, and some things involved there, but we're due some, I think, we're certainly due some in our favor. And it's you're right. Nobody would have dreamed 14 wins out of 16 games. That if we had all, sat down and given a prediction before the season started, I didn't think it was going to be horrible, but I certainly didn't think it would be, that successful. So it is. It's just, it's nice. Because there's there's a lot of things in my life that aren't going nice right now. So this is nice.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the nice. I'm enjoying, the distraction and the joy a little bit. And so.
Genuinely feels like the three of us are exactly in the same boat when it comes to, there is a lot of grim. So it is fantastic to be able to enjoy this and to bring you in on this a bit, Cam. Well, what I was saying about Mulby was I asked him the question about FSG and I was like, do you think maybe, if things weren't going so well, like say we had maybe only 4 or 5 wins or 6 or 7 wins or something like that, we had a bit of a Man United start to the season, for example. Do you think maybe we'd have... Not to name names. Do you think we maybe would have announced these contracts and got them over the line? Do you think it's actually because we're doing so well that the club feels that they can push this out? And what he said was, basically the lads are sitting in wherever they are having a cup of coffee and they're basically thinking, we're fucking great. Because the one job we had to do was make this appointment in the coaching section and around the coach. And we've got that so right. And I mean, it's hard to argue. Everyone's got to be in their bonnet about how we should have done more in summer. And I think they're right. And I'm not going to defend FSG or the lads who are currently running the club simply because that's what a top red super fan does. I'm not doing that. I was frustrated. I know you were. I know Lisa Marie was. I'll be frustrated if nothing happens at Christmas in the Christmas to January window. I'll be annoyed about that too. But at the same time, the big job was to keep it going and to bring in a man who's capable of keeping it going, a guy who could simply win football matches and a guy whose style was not going to be too jarring for the footballers we have and who could work with the really excellent squad that we have. I mean, Lisa Marie talked about luck, but we've had our injuries too. And we've had a couple of decisions go against us again as usual. So I'm just so impressed by how he is, I think, steering the ship in all ways. I'm loving the interviews, all that kind of stuff.
Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file. Abbott Diabetes Care. Per prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's game time. And if you've got a hunch about this NBA season, you could turn it into a big win on FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
Ooh, that guy's hotter than a microwave burrito.
Now that's a red hot hunch.
21 plus and present in Ohio. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
He just strikes me, and I don't care if we have a bad patch. That won't take away from it. I really think he's been a really good appointment. It just sort of feels right immediately. And you know what that's like, Cam, because that's what it felt like with Klopp.
Yeah. I mean, the appointment definitely does feel like the right appointment. He's definitely come in and hit the ground running. He hasn't thrown his toys out of the pram in any way, shape or form. We've seen him get frustrated on the touchline. He's had a couple of bookings for supposedly dissent. One of them when he was talking to his own player, not the referee or the fourth official or whoever. So he's cool, calm, collected. I'm not sure what your question was regarding FSG there, Trevor. That would we be hurling more abuse at them if we had had a bad start? I guess is what you're trying to say there.
No. Basically, what I was saying was Jan I brought up FSG only in the context of
the contracts.
Yeah, would the contracts have been signed? Because that is or really sign, you know.
No. The contracts are not announced because they're quite simply they're not close to signing them yet for whatever reason. They're still negotiating. It's these negotiations were, for whatever reason, didn't happen in the summer, or maybe they did, and they said, look, let's just let's get the summer transfer window out of the way with first, and then we'll do the contract situation. What people seem to have missed here with the contract situation is there was a complete change of guard. So maybe FSG was saying to the old regime, you don't talk contracts with any of the new, but now because Michael Edwards is coming in and we're going to let him assess the situation and then we'll take it from there. There's a lot of moving pieces in the background, and I think because things are now nicely settled down, I wouldn't be surprised if the next month or two. Well, definitely, I'm hoping within the next month before Christmas, we'll get one or two confirmations of contracts being signed. I would like to think that. I can't guarantee that in any way, shape, or form. I don't have anything further to add than the bomb I threw in the show last time. I've not spoken to anybody for a couple of weeks regarding it, so.
Let me make you a hostage to fortune, and I'll put myself out there first. I have a good feeling that I think the Virgil ones, I think everyone knows it's an open secret. It's going to get done. It's just a bit of wrangling because the player has his own pride and he wants to be respected. And that's fine. I feel that gets done. I also quietly feel that despite the naughty tweet during the week by Mo, that he's just literally putting pressure on the club there by saying who knows what will happen and all that kind of stuff. I kind of feel that's going to get done because I look at both of those players at this stage of their careers, and I think if they can get the right financial rewards, where the fuck else would they go?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Do you know what I mean? Now, Len, don't get me wrong, both of them would be taken at the drop of a hat by Real Madrid if they could go on a free transfer. They would. Yeah. They would. And they'd probably be playing for Real Madrid for a couple of years. Yeah. But I don't feel that for them, whereas with the other lad, I think that's a distinct possibility. So that's how my head is working at the moment. That's the breakdown I've got in my head at the moment. And I've one further thing to throw into the loop, and then I'm going to put the exact same question to you, Lisa Marike. Your gut feeling on it. Do you buy into, so first the contracts, and then do you buy into this Tchouaméni rumor? Because it's coming from a lot of the same sources that people were getting contract information about. I'm just wondering what you think.
Tchouaméni, I haven't got a clue. Ultimately it's just rumours. Right now, I mean, it could be agent trying to get a new contract for Tchouaméni on his side, saying there's interest. It could be that Real Madrid are considering to let him go. Why they would want to let him go doesn't seem to make any sense. The imbalance is at the top of the field, not in the central midfield. Modric is not getting any younger. You know, they had a wonderful, you know, you need 5-6 midfielders. Why would you get rid of one of your best midfielders? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
You know, he's just too good a player for them to want to lose in. And they're going to, you know, why would they want to take Enzo Fernandez over Tchouaméni? I don't see an upgrade there at all. It just doesn't make any sense.
I get that, and I've been oscillating in my feelings about this as well, and I kind of landed fairly close to you, Lisa Marie. Just your gut feeling on who goes and who stays ultimately with the contracts, because I think an awful lot of people are quite bullish on Trent as well. I understand that I'm maybe just a bit pessimistic on that one. I don't know why. And I'm curious to get your take. And also, do you place any store by these rumours? And by the way, please help me out here because I've been really out of the loop for the ongoing family stuff reasons. I'm not really picking up on much of the old gossip. So if there's anything else that's been out there, let me know about that too.
Well, I don't know where I can help you there. I've been a little bit out of the gossip loop myself. But regarding the contracts, you know, I honestly, I'm kind of torn. I think Virgil's is the most likely of the three, and I don't necessarily know why. I just because, I suppose. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like, especially with Trent, the more it drags on, the more I could see him, you know, moving on to Real Madrid. So yeah, I've kind of, and I think I said this a few weeks ago. I've gotten just a little bit tired of hearing about it because it's just been constant for, you know, so many weeks, if not months now, that I've just sort of tuned it all out. And, you know, when they announce it, fine. And that's a little bit the way I am about the Tchouaméni rumors as well. I've gotten it's been building for a little while, but I really feel like after the summer, I've gotten very cynical about transfers. I've kind of had my heart broken and my hopes dashed just one too many times. And so, you know, I don't really believe anything until I see that player standing in a Liverpool jersey.
Yeah.
on the field at Anfield or wherever, at the AXA or whatnot. I just, and nothing against the journalists or anything, but their job is to write things. And in some cases it's to just grasp at straws and at, these whispers and rumors and to make something out of it. And I get mad at myself when I fall for the headline, and not just about transfers in general. I'm like, really? You fell for that one. I've gotten better about not falling for them, but every now and again they get past me, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even think of a good example right now, but yeah, and you'll click it and you'll read through this whole, not very long story, but this whole story, and usually the last paragraph there's some sort of throwaway sentence that ties to whatever that headline was, and I'm like, really? Why did I just waste my time? So anyway,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not believing anything until I see somebody, be it Virgil, Mo, Trent, or Chouameni, or whoever else is being kicked around as a possible January transfer. Once again, FSG reminders that my birthday is in January, and I do like Liverpool-related presents. Yeah, but until I see them standing in some sort of official announcement capacity, I don't believe anything.
I think you've pretty much described the vast majority of people who are kind of sane, and then there's the people who my transfer show caters to, who allow themselves to be mental, and I've become one of those mental people who allows themselves to think about everything.
I enjoy your transfer show. I listen to it well, maybe not religiously. That might be a bit of an overstatement. I listen to it regularly when it kicks in, and I do. That way at least I'm not caught by surprise if we sign somebody or somebody else signs somebody. So there's value in listening to the rumors and reading the bits and pieces, but I think tying your hopes and dreams to them is, well, maybe not good for your sanity.
So disappointed in you, Trev.
Why is that, man?
Hypocrite.
I've abandoned my people and I've gone to live in the world of happy clappy transfer rumor, and I make no bones about it. And I'm very disappointed in Lisa Marie, because for a second there I was picturing her turning on the podcast machine and blessing herself before the
Well, Dave Davis does make a biblical reference like I have never heard before. I will say those are worth turning in for. So there may be a little something to say there.
I think they may not be biblically accurate if you check them really closely. I wouldn't take word for it.
You're shattering my.
I know. I obviously I believed all of them. Then I checked one of them. It didn't seem quite 100%. Cam, I have to ask you, man. Of all the things that there are to be happy about, obviously I've picked out our bald-headed Dutch leader as the focal point of what I'm particularly pleased with at the moment, because everything kind of obviously sort of emanates from that central appointment and the fact that he's been able to do what he's doing, and we have these tweaks to our system and all the rest of it. But it's the lads on the pitch who are really, really doing the thing, and I'm really struggling to think who I've been most impressed with. I think if I had to put my finger on it, and it's only because the likes of Virgil and Mo have been so impressive for so long that they almost suffer because of their own excellence. But the guy who's impressed me the most, and it's a long list, I've been just blown away by Ibou Konate. I find his performances to be so impressive. He's just, if anything, more fearsome than Virgil, certainly in the tackle. He's like the perfect foil for Virgil, because whereas Virgil has this more kind of standoff, stick a foot in, match an attacker for pace, intercept and read the game and use all his nous and ability. Ibou's not afraid to just literally barrel in and ragdoll forward. And it doesn't matter how big he is or how small he is. Poor Victor Boniface, who's not exactly a small lad, ended up just absolutely tossed around the gaff by Ibou. And it's the combination, I think, of the fact that he looks like a dad playing with toddlers, and that he's been so good with his distribution. He's been so important to our clean sheets. and our current best defensive record in the league. So for me, like I've been, do you know, obviously the icing on the cake, man, is that he keeps being able to play. Obviously, I'm gripping wooden table as I say that in case But he keeps being able to play, and even the scare where he had the hand injury, he's right back, and it's wonderful. So for me, he's been my on-pitch highlight. I wonder, would you have a different one? Is there anyone who's for you has been like really putting their hand up, or anyone else that you'd like to focus on in particular?
Well, you just reminded me of something when you said Ibu, then mentioning players, and I've got a bone to pick with you actually before I tell you who my player is. On the Mulvey show last week, you said nobody had mentioned Joe Gomez. Hello?
Nobody had mentioned Joe Gomez. What do you mean? I said nobody had mentioned Joe Gomez.
You said something about, was it on the Mulvey show? It was one of the shows you just said nobody's talked about the forgotten man, Joe Gomez.
Oh, yeah, I refer to him as the forgotten man because he's not getting the game, man. He's not getting the game.
That I hadn't forgotten.
Well, we hadn't on this show. And by the way, everybody knows I wanted to play left back. Yeah. I mean, ahead of Tsimikas.
No,
but Arne doesn't. Yeah, we had this conversation before, and then he went and played left back for several games in a row.
I know, and he was excellent. I'm not disputing that, but I believe I did say I feel sorry. I think I said that. I didn't think it was right that Ponza was starting over Joe Gomez.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe Gomez and Virgil and Joe Gomez showed it. He was a match winner for me on Saturday. Was it Saturday against Brighton?
It was.
Yeah, against Brighton. Yeah. Him coming in and the way he played. I mean, it was his tackle that led to the winning goal. Broke up their move or something. Or he was instrumental in it anyway. So anyway, but my player, now that I picked that bone of yours. My player, I mean, it was a brilliant shout. He's been phenomenal. He truly has, and like you say that, I'm rubbing my crown as I say this. You're right. He's staying injury free is a big thing. Or playing 2 games a week is fantastic. For me, it's Ryan Gravenberch. I just think he's been a joy. And that number 6 role, he's so progressive in what he's always looking to do. His dual success rate is phenomenal. He just glides. His touch is wonderful. His interceptions, takes the ball away from the opposition player, and the way his instinct is to go forwards, not to go sideways, not to go backwards, not to do a little short 5-yard pass. It's to instinctively turn, move into that space. He's already on the half turn, which is brilliant because he's already thinking that way. I'm going that way. That's where the goal is. And that, for me, is just been fantastic. But, we haven't played anyone yet, so let's see what he's like when he plays the big boys.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.